Greetings and salutations to our distance, and it is late in the evening, and therefore my lighting sucks now. But anyways, as you can see, this is my redo video. This is my redo video for Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So I gotta tell you, this is actually a rather neat book. You have a delightful piece of artwork on the front and back of Is It League member. This book does not have a, as far as I know, an alt art cover. But then again, I'm one of those people that literally don't give a crap about the alt art cover, because that's $10 more for a slightly different style of art cover. It's literally just a different cover, and it's a waste of money. I'm not joking. It's truly a waste of money. If you buy the art covers, in my personal opinion, if you buy 5 of those art covers, you literally paid for another book entirely. Easily. Instead of like spending that money on art covers, go buy yourself Pathfinder 2nd edition. It's a really cool little game. Get the GuildMaster's guide for Pathfinder 2nd edition. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there that you can actually homebrew into your 5th edition games. But if you ever wanted to play Pathfinder 2nd edition, you have Pathfinder 2nd edition then. This book is actually very well laid out. This is actually one of the best laid out books for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. You have a section, the table of contents, on this page right here. And then you have an index of stat blocks for various monsters and NPCs on the next page. That is really nice. They're right back to back. Right off the bat, you have the little section on Welcome to Ravnica, which gives you a basic overview of the world, the city, the basic outline of the current special currencies in the world, the languages, you know, the basic adjustments for from the typical D&D 5th edition setting to Ravnica. And then you have Chapter 1, which conveniently enough is character creation options, which includes choosing a guild, because this is a guild-centric game. That also includes information on playing a guildless adventure in Ravnica. Then you also have the various races that you can be found in Ravnica, classes by guild, as well as subclasses. So we go to the next thing after that. But anyways, then there's the Guilds of Ravnica section, Chapter 2. Chapter 3 is the 10 districts. Chapter 4 is creating an adventure. Chapter 5 is treasure. Chapter 6 is friends and foes. And then at the end of this list is all the sidebars. So I go on to the next. As I said, this is the index for all the stat blocks for all the creatures. This is a letter here, set in the world of Ravnica. You have this Welcome to Ravnica section. And you have a handy-dandy, up in this top corner, random chart for, hey, are you interested in wanting to play a guild-centric game, but you have no clue what guild you want to be in or your party wants to be in? Just roll a d10. There you go. The answer is right there. Get my d10 out. I actually have a tray over here, but I don't use the dice in the tray because they betray me too much. I got number 2, which was Boros Legion. That's actually not a pretty bad one. But anyways, it goes over, you got the random chart, you got the basic rundown of the guilds of the city, history of Ravnica section, guild pacts, Precious Piece, the Precious Piece. Then you happen to have on the backside here the list for the months for Ravnica, Life in the Big City section, Guild Insignia, Currency Conversion for Ravnica, Comforts of Civilization, standard languages, cosmopolitan conveniences. You know, how much copper pieces does it cost to buy a cup of coffee, a newspaper, a pendulum clock, spectacles, and spyglass? Which actually is a better price for the spyglass in this one because it's 50 to 100 gold pieces. Then you go into the character creation section. This basically goes over choosing a guild at this first section for your adventure. It gives you a quick rundown of, like, here's a nice little flow chart right here. Allowing you to decide, hey, am I a nature person or am I a science person? Would you prefer rather spending your time in a laboratory in the nature with the growing things? And you pick which side you want to go. And you snake your way down to wherever you want to go, and boom, you're at your guild. Then you have a little quick section about party makeup and a D8 table for that. A common cause, a D8 table for that. And then you have a quick list of height and weight for various races. The common races like human, elves, and centaurs, right here. Goblins, Luxodon, minotaurs, simic hybrids, because I accidentally turned a page and missed them. Simic hybrids, and Voldekin. Just note that all these races that are in this book are reprinted into Mordenkainen's tome of Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse. So if you do not want to spend your money on this book, but you still want the race options, you can get them in that book as well. And then on to the next page, we got classes by guild. This basically outlines what classes most commonly appear in each guild and which ones are most thematic to that guild. And then you get to the subclasses. You happen to have the cleric or order domain here. I actually skipped past the beginning of that subclass, which is right here. Subclass options, cleric, order domain. Right here. And we also happen to have the Spores Druid. The Spores Druid and the Order Domain Cleric happen to be in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything with minor adjustments. Same thing with the races in the previous book. They're in Mordenkainen's Monsters Presents the Monsters of the Multiverse. And they also have some adjustments in there. Then you have Chapter 2, Guilds of Ravnica. This walks you through the various guilds. You happen to have the history of the guilds, their theme, what they're all about, their antithesis, random tables for why you've joined that guild and stuff like that, people who are on your side, people who are against you, etc., etc. And you just go through that, and you happen to have the nice little section here where you have the art style for them. You have tables for flaws and ideals and bonds and everything, as well as various ranks as you level up in the association. You happen to have the symbol up here for the various organizations. This happens to be the Boros Legion, which I rolled earlier. And just keep on rolling. The artwork is actually quite good in this book overall. And I kind of see why so many people decide that they're going to lay the book out on a table and just record from top down. But anyways, you happen to have lots of artwork, lots of highly essential information. You got good images of various organizations' members, so you can actually consider when you are designing your characters for that guild. you can keep in mind what that guild members look like, so you can fit in with a theme. And I just keep, there's at least like it's about 4 or 6 pages for each guild. Let's see, there's 2 pages there, 4 pages here, 6, yeah, 6. About 6 pages. Got the Is It League, which are the mad scientists, the steampunk people, who have an obsession with Nikola Tesla and electricity. The Orzhov Syndicate, which is like a criminal version of the churches. And then you have Party Animal Circus Demons. Nature Hippies. Nature Knights. Knights of Nature. And then you got the Simic Concubine, which are bioscientists that merge people with creatures, aquatic creatures. And it keeps going. And then you got Chapter 3, which is all about the 10 districts, which is made up of 6 precincts. So there you go. The 10th district. 10th district, the 6 precincts of that. And you happen to have all these handy-dandy maps in here. Interestingly note, please note that all the maps that are in this chapter, like this, show up in this bundle right here. This Maps and Miscellanea for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I did a video on it some time back, so you want to see those maps in closer detail. I show them in closer detail in that video. It's actually a pretty good way of streamlining things. There's also a few maps that are not included in here or organized better into that than it is in here, with DM and player versions. You happen to have a lot of D12, D8, D10 tables in here for various things. And this is actually kind of hard because I'm actually transitioning back and forth between pages. You got some maps here. There happens to be all these maps, as I said, happen to be in that map and miscellany pack, but with and without labels on them. That way, when your players look at the map, they don't see the word lounge, dining, kitchen, observation, etc. on it, which is actually a really nice touch, particularly when they're trying to invade that place and find something. Hanging out in the Is It League. Then off into the Orzhov. And then the Rakados. And then there's a little section on running an adventure. And I think this is actually a small adventure that's actually tucked in here between all the stuff. Yes, it is. I forgot where the adventure was in this book. And then it goes to treasures. And you happen to have guild charms, guild rings, some special items. There's actually some cool steampunk items in here, and lists for various items from the Dungeon Master's Guide and other books that would actually work in this setting, and what organization that would be best fit with. Then you got Chapter 6, Friends and Foes. You got a nice long list of tables for all the creatures that would be found working for that organization or guild. And then you have all the bestiary from here to here. It's weirdly organized. It actually is somewhat organized by organization. So you got the Boros Angels in the front, and mostly people from Boros. And then you have various other creatures like mixed in between them that are just common to this world. But you have a nice variety in here. Yet again, these creatures have not been repeated in any other book. So if you want the monsters out of Ravnica, you're going to have to go to this book specifically just to get them. And you have a nice variety in here, meeting all kinds of crazy combinations. As you can see, there's a lot of them. Then you have NPCs by guild section. So these are all the major characters from each guild. The first half was just basically generic creatures with some various creatures from guilds, but not major ones. These are all major characters or major archetypes of characters. There's like, you have Lazev, and you have Mind Mage and Thought Spy from the Dimir, and so forth. And as you can see, it's actually a really nice variety, as I said before numerous times. And it just happens to end out on the Biomancer. It's a black sheet. There's no advertisement or anything. I say this is actually a pretty darn good book. The player options from this book have been repeated into other books. So if you want a more comprehensive collection of subclasses or character races, you save money by simply buying those books. However, if you're a game master or dungeon master that wants the stuff from this book, it's from the dungeon master area, monsters and stuff like that. You cannot find that stuff in other books. The closest thing you can find to it is the Maps and Miscellany, which contains all the maps for the adventures for the world and major places. So there you go. As for a player score, I say this is like a 3-star. You don't really need to buy this anymore if you're a player. You really don't, unless you want to go specifically into the world lore. But as a dungeon master, I would probably place this around like 4-star. Some really solid creatures in here. A lot of interesting mechanics and alternate systems of money and different pricing scales for the different things. And it shows you a whole nother way of organizing your adventure to play in another way. In a steampunk-esque, city-centric adventures. So, there you go. Another good book that's similar to this, but is more Forgotten Realms oriented, is actually Acquisitions Incorporated. So if you don't want Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, Acquisitions Incorporated would be the next one in line. Or the one you might prefer. But anyways, yeah, I would say this is probably like a 3 for a 2 to 3 range for players. If you're tight on budget, I wouldn't bother with this as a player. But if you're a dungeon master who wants new, interesting stuff, yeah, I would buy this. Definitely buy this book. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope this video actually has sound when I go and check it, because the original one I did for this didn't have sound. Yeah. If you ever come across a video that's missing sound or has some kind of weird anomaly in it, please tell me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful weekend, a magnificent month. And we should be starting into the Pathfinder month immediately after this. So I'm going to be momentarily stopping with Dungeons & Dragons coverage other than the new stuff that pops out. and then going right into Pathfinder. So thank you very much for watching, and have a delightful day and a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And see you next time.